think we are live. That's better. Right, let's get into the comments section first. Good afternoon, or even good evening, everybody. And a batch of people already looking at the comments. Good evening to you all. Detector Kev, History Unearthed, David Yorkshire Taylor, Bloodicus Detects, Detecting with Dale, Jim, Mel, Jeff Block, Darren Hutton, Andrew Kelly, loads of people joining, which is fantastic. Good to see you all. I think it's looking highly likely that we've got a good mixture of YouTube members and Facebook viewers. William Morris, how are you? Andrew Kelly, hi. I hope you've all had a decent break over Christmas and New Year. We didn't do a live stream for a while. We were just that busy with different things, of course, as always. But it's good to interact with you all. Once again. Got some quite interesting information coming up, I hope. Good evening to Adrian Harris. I'll just put his comment on the screen. So those of you that don't know Adrian, he is a member of Team Unearthed, and we've got him on YouTube now, finally, and he does a really good job, actually. He's if you get a chance, have a look at his channel. He's a very interesting man, he's Adrian, a good friend of mine. And who else? So we've got Jim Lodge. Hi, Jim. Good to see you, Jim. And we've also got Detecting with Dale. Anyone find anything nice today? I think there's been quite a few interesting finds coming up. Dale, I know you've had one or two decent finds as well. Al Plevy, good to see Al. If I can put Al up on the screen, good to see you. And Stephen, good evening, Steve. And also to Andrew Tiffin as well. He's a hell of a nice fella. Good detectorist as well, is Andrew. A member of the Unearthed Organised Dig team. And Neil Radner, what a nice fella he is. I hope you're not lambing at the moment, Neil. I can imagine it being quite a stressful time as always when you are lambing. Good evening, Graham. Hand pink waving. Good evening, Graham Dempsey. Lawrence Hartley. We've got loads of people on tonight. Loads and loads of people. Now, good evening to you, Ryan Chapel Howe, Jimmy Morse as well. Great guy. We've got loads. Don Shepherd's on, and John O'Reilly, Bill Morrison. I could go on. Leonard Jackman, Stephen Grierson's back on again. Mark Hayes. It's great to see you all. What is Adrian's YouTube channel? It's just called Adrian Harris. He hasn't named it after a detecting related theme. So if you go on and look at Adrian Harris, he's done some really good initial work with his latest detector. So there you go, folks. Good to see Detector Kev on as well. I know he's been up to out and about in the fields lately, which is good. Dalboy, how are you, sir? It's all great to see you. We've got about 50 people watching, which is great. Now, just while I've got everybody together, we've got a lot of people asking by email and messenger and phone, actually, about when are the metal detectors arriving. We'll just give you an update on the situation with the Manta Core and the Knox 900 and 700. As you know, we can only sell what we've got and provide what we've got, and it's only a very small amount that's trickling through at the moment. And everybody in the country is the same. It's very difficult to get hold of these machines, and there's an ever-growing waiting list from the detectorists that obviously want to get their hands on one, which I can understand. However, we are getting batches every week now. We're only very small batches, and we're just getting through the backlog of people that have put the names down with us, which is good. I mean, we're getting a lot of interest here at Unearthed about the both machines, or three machines actually, including the 700. And all I can say is just be patient. There is more coming, but it's a frustrating situation for everybody. It's as frustrating for us as it is for you, which I can fully understand. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on my own Manta car. I've been out and about today with the Equinox 900, which is, I have to say, is a wonderful detector. Actually, I'm getting, every time I'm using that machine, I'm getting to like it more and more. When I first got the Equinox 800, going back a number of years now, I came away from high frequency, single frequency detectors. And it took me some time to gel with the Equinox 800. I wasn't 100% confident with it. I don't think it's probably the right word. And I did find a lot of nice things. I found Saxon coins, and I found lots of Roman denarius and hammers and things. But it took me a while to get to grips with it. The Equinox 900, however, just seamless. It's a fantastic machine. Good to know that William Morris has subscribed to you, Adrian. So there you go, sir. You've got a new subscriber, and he's a great guy, William Morris. You will not meet a better man than William. Right, so that puts that to bed. So just be patient. I know a lot of you are waiting, but with me and Melanie, I've got to go through the waiting list of people that have already put the names down for the Manta car and the 900, and we're slowly getting through that. So just be a little bit patient if you can. I know it's frustrating, guys. I tried out the Coiltech 14B9 on the Knox today. Damn, that thing is deep, even picking up tiny pellets. It's a bit heavy though. For me, Jason, I found it quite a heavy coil, but yeah, it's a good coil. It's a good beach coil, I think. A lot of people use them on the beaches. So that's that put to bed. I'm hearing lots of interesting finds are being made already in the new year, which is really interesting. I know I was talking to some of the Team Unearthed members earlier about a hoard that had come up, I think, in Scotland. Which is probably going to cause quite a lot of interest in the next few weeks when it actually gets released to the press and things. So just what I think was a hoard of denarius and other objects, which is always interesting. Good evening to the treasure huntress. Good to see you on here. Hope you're well. Hope you're keeping safe. Rob Quince, the Manta car is looking awesome. The Manta car is going to be a cracking machine. However, because people are only just getting their hands on them and the weather's been so poor, there's not that many people venturing out with them as I thought there would have been. The ground's still waterlogged in a lot of areas. So people are a bit tentative in venturing out with the Manta car and getting to grips with it. There's not many videos out there, folks. There's not many YouTube stuff coming out. I mean, hopefully I can get my hands on one fairly soon. But I've been supplying all the Manta cars that have been coming in to the people that have ordered them. So I've not even been able to get my hands on one myself. But that's just the way it is. But the Susie Detects, actually, she got the Manta car. She was one of the first on the list, and she already smashed a hammered coin out with it in amongst all the iron, which I found very interesting, especially when it came up on the screen, the 2D screen or the 2D identification screen, a picture of a block of iron and then the coin-shaped object in the middle of the screen, which indicated there was something there of note. She dug it and she got the hammered coin. So well done to her. There's quite a lot of Facebook users coming through. I'm not sure who these people are, so I'm going to say hi to you, but it just comes up as Facebook user. It doesn't actually come up your name. Chris Critch, good to see Chris. I know you put your name on the end of there, Chris. Always welcome here and always good to see you. I may end up with a Manta car soon, says somebody. Oh, Dale. Well, the money you've got, Dale, you could probably buy the company. But anyway, there you go. Mr. Johnson, not sure who that is, but hello and Happy New Year. Looks like you've got a picture of Charles Bronson on the page, unless it is you, sir. And lovely to see, actually, one of our American friends, Northwest Ohio. And it is morning there. Lovely to see you, Mark. Mark Henninger, Mel. Do we know that name? No, it's not one of the first Texas guys, is it? Mark? No. Anyway, Mark, always a pleasure to see you. I would be, just bear with me a second. That 2D screen looks great, but there's a risk. I don't think so, Kev. What you've got to remember is the 2D identification screen is working in tandem with the tones, and any good detectorist will train their ears. I mean, I'm a tone guy. I always have been a tone guy. I've just done a film today, ready for the YouTube channel tomorrow, all based on tones on the Equinox 900. The 2D identification screen is another tool for you to use at your disposal. and I know how accurate it is. It's a really good tool. However, it's early days, and I'm waiting for it to get out on some of the Roman sites where there's a lot of iron infestation and there's a lot of bronze Roman coins mixed in. It'll be later in the year now when the sites become available again. But I think the Manticore by that time will be easy for people to pick up and use and understand, because there'll be more and more people using them and sharing best practice. Chris Jones, great guy. I hope your singing is on top form, Chris. I know you had a bad throat over Christmas. I'm hoping that you are well. It's Ladge Johnson. Good to see you, Ladge. Hope you're well, my friend. And hello from a rainy Brighouse. I think Brighouse is pretty much rainy all the time. It's probably pretty much like it is here in Cumbria. No, just a digger. Yeah, good to know, Mark. Great to see. I just recognise the surname, that's all. Right, folks. So we are just going to talk very briefly. Well, when I say briefly, it probably isn't very briefly, but if you could do me a favour, just give me the thumbs up on Facebook and thumbs up on YouTube. It just makes the channel more visible, I guess. If you can just bang that like button for me, that would be very, very kind of you. We've got quite a lot of people watching tonight, which is unusual for an early start. We usually do them at 7, but we've actually do it a bit earlier tonight with it being a Sunday. We are changing slightly things based around the Unearthed organised digs, and I'm going to go into detail why. Just let me just put a couple of these things up on the screen. Just subscribe to Adrian's channel. I think the logo was Detecting Go-Go. Possibly. I'm not sure what Adrian's got on his logo, actually. I think it's a detectorist, I think. But he's a great guy. He is a great guy. When you see him, you've probably seen him on the television. He stars alongside the rest of the gang on various television detecting programs. And he's one of those guys that'll do anything for you. If you're stuck with anything, I've had bad backs and neck aches and things like that. He's always produced gel and painkillers, and he'll even sharpen your spade for you if you ask him nicely. There you go. So, yes, we are going to make some changes to the Unearthed organised digs. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, believe it or not, I mean, I can understand it to a degree, but if I explain myself, it might make things a little bit more clear for some people. But between Christmas and New Year, we got one or two, and I guess it's because people were off and wandering around on YouTube looking at various things. And we got a little bit of stick, or I got a little bit of stick about the Unearthed organised digs off a small group of people, most of them, if not all of them, I didn't know. But they were basically saying the Unearthed organised digs are cliquey and a closed shop. And, why can't people join? And why is it a bit cliquey and things like this? Now, we've got to realise that the Unearthed organised digs that hopefully you all enjoy watching on the YouTube channel, and those of you who are part of the Unearthed organised dig team, enjoy the experience. I mean, we put a lot of hard work and effort into the Unearthed organised digs, and this year is going to be no different when we stretch out even further and bring new farms that haven't been detected before. So we're not stepping on any detectorists' toes like some of the commercial dig groups do. And I want to make that quite clear from the start, that we only target virgin land and farms that haven't got detectorists wandering all over, because I think that the biggest con in the detecting world at the moment is a lot of these commercial dig groups opening up farms for 100 people, for example, and saying it's virgin land, never been detected on, blah, 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 when there's been people like myself and others for countless decades wandering over these farms as private permissions of our own that we've had in the bag for, since the 80s and the 90s, or even further. So, the Unearthed organised digs are different. They're not commercial digs for people. So when people think, well, hang on a minute, I bought a detector off you, and why am I not on the Unearthed organised digs? That's just now why we're changing it. And the reason is because we've been let down by a lot of people over the years. And I'm one of those guys that it takes a little bit of time for me to trust people. And it's probably because we've been burnt that much over the years, I have to say. And a lot of other dig organisers have probably experienced the same thing. So, for example, when we've had people coming on the digs that have bought a detector from us, and we say, our way of saying thanks for your custom, and you can come along to the Unearthed organised dig, and then you maybe fall out with people on the dig, and you don't mix with people. Now, if it's a one-at-one and there's a bit of bickering going on in the background, that needs to be dealt with privately between the two people. But when there's other people coming on board and saying, I don't like that person there coming on this dig because of whatever, you know, I've got to start listening to what people say to me. And then you've also got the problem of people coming on the Unearthed organised digs and leaving a lot of holes, a lot of mess. And also we've had people leaving a lot of litter. Now, there's nothing worse than a farmer going back on the land, as you know, and wandering on his farm after the digs, you know, commenced and finished, only to find sort of litter, batteries, holes left unopened, bottles of pop, that sort of thing. The person that gets it in the neck, folks, is me. It's not the person that's left the mess. It's always me and Mel. So we've got to be really careful who we invite onto the organised digs now. So we're changing it. And when people say it's a clicky, closed shop, that's probably the way it's going to be. I think I'm probably going to go a stage further and say, you know, the people that are on the dig group now, we've got a really good, dedicated team of detectorists that are not into the commercial rally scene. They're in it because they want to find stuff, and they do find stuff, but they work and they gel as a team. Everybody gets on. If it's someone's birthday, you know, they wish them happy birthday and they have a crack with them about the dog and their wives and their husbands or whatever it might be, and everything detecting related, but they all get on really well. I don't think in all the years I've been doing the Unearthed organised digs, I don't think we've got a happier team of people. And I can't afford to bring people in from the outside that I don't know that could change the dynamics. I mean, we've had people that have, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be honest with people. We've had people that have been criminals or criminal activity, and I don't want that. I don't want criminals and people that have been involved in criminal activity on the dig groups, people that have been involved in drugs. That sort of thing doesn't mix with me. It certainly doesn't mix with the landowners and the farmers. So if you've been taken, you know, if for whatever reason you're not on the dig group, there's a reason behind it. It's not just me being spiteful to people or thinking, you know what, I don't like the look of you not coming on. There's always a reason behind it. Now, you know, we do have an organised dig group, which is a closed shop, and there's been people on there that have been removed off the group. And the reason why they've been removed off the group is quite simple. Is because they never attended dig groups. They never attended digs. So you could be on the dig group for 12 months and miss 12 digs. There's no point in being on the dig group if you're not going to attend. That to me tells me that you want to see where we're going and what farms we're going on to, but you're not willing to attend. So that's why people get removed. It's not personal. It's not me being funny with anybody. The rules are, if you don't attend an organised dig group, you know, within the sort of 6-month period, make way for somebody else, come off. And I just find it a bit strange that people kick off and start calling Unearthed behind our backs. Well, you know, I've been kicked off the Unearthed group. I did nothing wrong, but you haven't been for 14 digs or 16 digs on the trot that you missed, but you're quite happy to lurk in the background with no intention of coming on the digs. So it doesn't work that way. You know, it's all about the team effort that we put in and the rewards that we get out of it. You know, everybody wins, and that's the way it should be. There's no point. I wouldn't like to be on a dig group that I couldn't attend. Well, what's the point of doing it? Just crazy. So, you know what? I just hope and pray that people understand that and realize now that's why it's happened. You know, I had a message off one guy kicking off that he'd been removed off the dig group. I didn't see him for 14 months. You know what I mean? You just can't have people lurking in the background on the dig group with no intention of attending the digs, but then kicking off because they got removed. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And probably why we run such a successful, you know, group of detectorists. And, you know, I think we're now moving into the realms of, you know, there's a lot of beginners that have come on the scene over the last 2 or 3, 4 years. And now I'm seeing those individuals develop into full-time, fully fledged, really good metal detectorists that really do go out and find some fantastic objects, coins and artifacts, but they do it for the history. You know, I don't think at any time on our organised digs anybody's come up to me and said, what's that worth? Not once, not ever. And Melanie's the same. I can ask Melanie the question, she'll never remember anybody doing that. They're all in it for the history. How old is it? What reign is that king? Where does that date from? Not interested in the money. Not interested in the money. They're all in it for the history and that buzz of unearthing something that hasn't been touched for potentially 3,000 years and beyond. It's just some quite interesting comments coming through. Neil, it's your group, run it as you see fit, cross the line and out. That's dead right, Neil. Yeah, but you do feel a little bit at times. You do feel a bit. You've got to get a bit off your chest. Ryan's a good. I mean, Ryan attends the dig group. I know Ryan personally. He's a great guy. He mixes in well and he finds stuff. You know, he absolutely loves the days out. I mean, I'd love to invite, more people on the dig group, but you've just got to be careful. Got to know these people first. You know, we had one guy coming on the dig group who's been removed because he was going around other people's holes as they were finding things. What he was doing, they were saying, I found a hammered here, and he was going right up to them and literally detecting right round them as they were on their knees, digging up the coin, and then just being pretty rude to people. And the etiquette of detecting is give people a bit of space. And it's that sort of thing. It's just that thing of making sure that we don't change the dynamics of the group by, letting people in that we don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame that, people get upset about it, but that's just the way it is. And there'll be people that watch this live stream, maybe not tonight, but they'll probably watch it over the following week. And then hopefully the penny will drop. They've got to remember it's not personal. It's a reason. There's always a reason behind why people are not coming on the Unearthed Organised digs. And like I said earlier, when I was saying there's people for sort of 3, 4, 5 years now that are really developing into fully fledged detectorists and doing the job. And I can see a time in the future where we become almost, and when this isn't out to be sounding patronizing, a very elite group of individuals that just know how to find things. And that's where I want to get it to. We won't be around forever. Me and Melanie will not be doing the organised digs forever. There'll become a time when I'll say, listen, guys, that's the end. We've had a great run at it, some fantastic memories, but there will come a time when we knock it on the head. But until that time, I can see the group being that well established and that good at detecting and good at what they do, that we will be an elite group of detectorists that unearth some fantastic objects, and they've already proved that. So, let's just have a look. Stephen Grierson. Do we know Stephen? I think we know Stephen, don't we, Mel? Stephen Grierson. Stephen's saying that I've never been on your digs, but will do if it's okay to remain. Yeah, no, the Unearthed. The Unearthed Facebook group is nothing to do with the dig group, Steve. It's a separate thing. It's just I had to get it off my chest, folks. I just had to get it off my chest. Now, so I hope people understand that. And I'm looking at the comments that are coming through. It's it is pretty positive, which is good. I don't want to be upsetting anybody. What's the point of upsetting anybody? There's always a reason. What did you say, Mel? Mel laughing in the background at me upsetting somebody, I think. Is that what you're laughing at? All right. Do you want to come here and sit here and do this, Mel? No, okay. I don't know why the laugh was going on in the background, but there you go. Great group, lots of healthy people I continue to meet. Absolutely, Ricky. Ricky's another one that mixes in well. He's going to be, in the next few years, finding some really wonderful things. So that's as good as we are going to get. So let's just have a look. Lads, yes, I mean, I know you personally, Mr. Johnson. So yes, you're more than welcome to come on board one of the days and have a dig with us. Not a problem. Not a problem. So the other thing is, when we're talking about YouTube as well, I mean, a lot of people watch the YouTube channel and are enjoying the YouTube channel. But I'm just going to put this out there because there'll be a lot of people on here watching and also probably have their own YouTube channels, I guess. It's quite a lot of the Team Unearthed members now. There's quite a lot of the Team Unearthed members now that are purely smashing the 1,000 subscriber mark, which I think is fantastic. I mean, they set off pretty low numbers and they've built up over the years a following where they hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is good. But YouTube are changing the dynamics. And the reason why they're changing the dynamics is because very soon the shorts are going to be coming on board. So I don't know if you watch the shorts that come on, the 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, or whatever it might be. Little shorts of coins, artifacts that might get put on. Lots of people do shorts all over the world. Some people get millions of views just for walking down the street with their backside cheeks hanging out. Different world is detecting. If you're showing a coin on the YouTube channel and zooming in and out of it with a little bit of music on the background, you've probably got to like history and got to like coins in the first place to enjoy watching it. However, it's going to be a theme that's going to continue more and more. So YouTube are trying to compete now with places like Instagram and also TikTok, where they're going to be introducing shorts. Now, what's going to change from the 1st of February is shorts are going to become monetized. So people that are going to be putting shorts on will get 55% of the revenue. I think YouTube take 45%. It's literally only pennies, folks. So people are not going to get rich anytime soon. But what I'm saying is you'll see a lot more channels promoting shorts out there. So I would personally, I would hope that, people don't start saying, why is all these shorts coming out all of a sudden? That's the reason why. The reason why is because they've become monetized, so people will be earning a few pence. I did a short the other day. YouTube must have checked it for some reason, and they paid me a penny, one pence. So that gives you some idea. But people do it. So you'll see a lot more YouTube shorts going out, detecting related stuff, which is all good, which is all fantastic. I mean, I think if people like doing them, let people do them. Now, for those of you that are interested in the latest Minelab Equinox 900, there's going to be a really interesting film, hopefully out tomorrow, on the new software, the new tone system that have been built into that machine. So that'll be out tomorrow tea time. Give it a watch. I did it early today. I've got to edit it and mess about with it a little bit, but it's a rather interesting film for those who are interested. So I'm expecting, hopefully, that it will strike a chord with one or two people that have already got the Equinox 900 or are thinking of getting it. People like Jim Lodge. I don't know if you're on here tonight, Jim, but I know you are in the market for one. Shorts will help you get monetized. Now you need something like 10 million views. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of people that are jumping on the YouTube bandwagon now, and I can understand that. But listen, don't be under any illusion that don't be under any illusion that people don't make any money out of YouTube unless you've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and you're getting thousands and thousands of views, which leads me to just tell you very, very briefly before we move on that I've got a friend who comes on our Unearthed Organised Digs, Richard. I don't think he'll mind me saying this actually, who set up his own YouTube channel just to explore YouTube. And he did his first YouTube film of him unearthing a coin of Queen Elizabeth. And he got 45 views. Maybe 45, which is not a lot of views really, but he didn't have many subscribers. And then he did something which is really remarkable. He changed the dynamics of his YouTube channel and put a film up of a jet flying over one of the lakes in the Lake District, and he filmed it because that's one of his passions, is filming the RAF jets on training exercises. And boom, it got 375,000 views. And he continued to do it, and his views were unbelievable. It just smashed my views completely out of the park. I mean, but he only had 69 subscribers, for example. I just told him just gently introduce a subscriber logo or ask people to subscribe, and now he's up to maybe 300. But his views, he's got the equivalent views of somebody with 100,000 subscribers. I mean, how mental is that? So it just shows that you can actually, smash the views on YouTube, but you've got to be putting stuff out there that people are interested in. Let's have a look at this now, where we are. Given there is 3 new Minelab models out, will they be still offering updates? I'm not sure, Lodge. I'm not sure about that. I'm presuming that Minelab will do some updates this year. But just remember, they won't be doing any updates to the 800 that will make it a 900, or they won't be doing any updates to the Equinox 600 that will make it a 700, because the software is completely different. It's a completely different machine. So when I pick up my 900, and if I used it alongside somebody with an 800, the difference would be there straight away. It's a completely different detector. It looks the same. It has similar settings in there, but it's a different machine in its behavior as well. I found it's much more stable. It's a deeper seeking machine, and you can sort of squeeze a little bit more performance out of it. I love to watch the digs and anything else Unearthed presents. Not only do I get to see amazing finds, I also get to find out what's going on in the detecting community, good or bad. No BS. That's very kind of you, Mark. And I have to say, some of the American followers on the Unearthed YouTube channel are some of the kindest and most welcoming people we've ever met. You know, they're wonderful people. Detecting Scotland, good to see you, sir. I'm not sure who it is behind Detecting Scotland, if I can put it up. As long as you enjoy what you do, the rest will follow. Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, so I mean, hopefully that just gives you some idea of what else is going on. But I think this year, I do think this year is going to be a very interesting year, because I am hearing rumours, if that's the right word. Where are you disappearing to, Mel? Oh, that's okay. I'm just checking. You were sneaking off.
No, it's really good.
Is it? Do you want to come and take over for 5 minutes? Are you sure? Mel did promise to do a live stream, folks. Remember, was it last year you did one, or the year before? And somebody gave her the thumbs down, and I mentioned it just purely probably by mistake, and she's never been back since, folks.
No,
even though she got 200 or 300 thumbs up,
no.
she only got 1 thumbs down, but that put her off.
Straight away within seconds.
Oh, I told her straight away within seconds. Mel, you've got a thumbs down. I shouldn't have said it anyway. My fault. Mel's going to make me a brew, and no, I don't think she will. Actually, could you get me a drink of water, Mel, if you don't mind? It's okay. I'll do the same for you. Well, just having a bit of a domestic, folks. Right. So, I think it'll be an interesting year, 2023, because I am hearing rumours, just like last year, that there will be other machines and some new machines arriving on top of what already is coming out with the Manticore 900s and other detectors. So there will be a never-ending stream of new accessories and machines coming out for people to say, yeah, I like the look of that, or you know what, no, I'll stick with what I've got. There's always going to be that going on. But that's just a wonderful world of technology, folks, remember. And at the end of the day, no one's ever going to force you to buy a detector that you don't want. So, rather interesting. I hope that's all been digested by people and they understand the crack about. I agree, Andrew, actually. Come on, Mel. She's disappeared into various rooms in the distance, and I actually can't see her anymore, so I don't know what she's up to, but all I asked for is a little bit of water. You know? Detector Kev says he got a thumbs down. Oh, my pleasure, Tessie. You're refreshing your channel. I'm not sure what that is. I'm probably missing the conversations going on. I got a thumbs down Friday. I laugh as they interacted with my video, which is good. Yeah, you're always going to get 1 or 2 people that are a bit strange. But you know, that's in their heads. They're probably thinking they're going to be normal. A lot of people are saying, come on, Mel, give me a break. Where are you at, Mel, with a coffee? Mr. Johnson says, come on, Mel, give him a break. Lots of people are jumping on my defense, Mel, and saying, where are you at? And she's got me some water. Thanks, Mel. That's very kind of you. And Bill Leyland's on, actually. There's not many people anymore. We call legends, but actually Bill is one. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Mel gives me a roasting for saying everybody's a legend sometimes. But Bill is. Just before we go on to Bill, we've got William Morris. Are you able to use the coils and the Coiltech coils for the 800? Yes, you are. So they're compatible. The 800 Coiltech range of coils are compatible with the 900, which is good. Yes, you can use them. You can use them, but not with the Manticore. No, no, that's a completely different animal. Hello, Green Mel. I had a lovely couple of hours today with Andy, getting to know my Knox, a fine machine. Thanks for saving it for me, Graham. See you Sunday. Be good to see you next week, Bill. Just while Bill's on, and I know he won't mind. He certainly won't mind me saying this. Bill is now in his 80s. He doesn't look it. He doesn't act it. And he's got the energy of a man half his age. and he attends most of the Unearthed organised digs, and he doesn't care what the weather is. He was one of the gentlemen that he was the gentleman that found the Bronze Age axe. If you watch the Channel 5 production last year of Digging for Treasure, Bill was the guy who found the Bronze Age spear, sorry, not the axe. So a wonderful man, and he's one of the best gentlemen that existed on our digs, that attends our digs. Right, I'm with Mel. Get your own water. Well, there's a few people sticking up for you now, Mel. So, so Detecting Scotland. Mel says thanks to you for doing that. Where we at? Yeah, there we go. I'm missing a lot of the chats going on. Now I'm with you, Mel. Get your own water. So yes, so going back to but just briefly about the Unearthed organised dig, because I'm looking at my notes and thinking, what am I talking about? But I've got some more bits and pieces. So we are going to take it up a stage, I think, and we're going to get more and more farms under our belts. And I think it's only right that we do that, because a lot of farmers now are interested in their history of their land and obviously want us to attend. So Cumbria and other counties are going to be on the radar. Now, people have been asking me quite a lot, actually, over the last few months, what's happened to the Yorkshire farm that we had. And we have reason to believe, after speaking to the landowner, that it looks like there's been green waste spread on it. Now, that does open up a can of worms. And the reason why it opens up a can of worms is because we all know that green waste is a killer. So for example, if you went on a farm 5 minutes in that direction, you would come across a farm that I've actually had permission on in the past that has many, many tons of aluminium green waste and toxic waste and everything else you can name spread over its fields, and you wouldn't be able to last 5 minutes without getting 5 minutes, 5 seconds without getting multiples. Yeah, you can see it glistening in the sun when he plows the fields. That's how bad it is. So green waste is a killer for detectorists as a whole. However, it's all isn't as it seems with green waste. So, for example, we had a farm recently, which has probably been one of our best farms. We've only had 2 digs on it, but those 2 digs, if you watch back a couple of months ago on the Unearthed YouTube channel, there was 2 digs in particular that really stood out. And one of them was the title was probably Major Discovery, and a fantastic gold discovery. That's the titles of the films. That particular farm, when we visited it, the farmer assured us that there was obviously no green waste on there, or no metallic waste. However, unbeknown to the farmer, it had been introduced at some point, which, if we knew that when we tested it and tested some of the other fields, because we obviously test for green waste, and if we started digging it up in smallish amounts, we probably would have swerved that farm, which would have led to all the wonderful coins and artifacts that came up that day for them to still be there. So it's a fine line. So we're going to get to a point where we're going to test farms, and if a little bit of green waste comes up, but we know there's good finds there, we're going to have to take a gamble and an educated decision to say, hang on a minute, if we say no, what are we going to miss? All those wonderful gold items that we found, all the historic medieval items, the hammers, the groats, the pendants, you name it. All that stuff would have still been lying there because we would have found, because I know for a fact if I'd have dug up 3 or 4 pieces of green waste in 20 minutes, I'd have been like, well, hang on a minute. You've got to multiply that by 35 people that are coming on. Don't think it's going to work. And we would have given it a wide berth. We would have swerved it. So we've got to be really careful. So when we tested for green waste last week on 2 new farms, the farmer told us he thinks he's got it on. We didn't find any. We found some interesting items dating to the sort of Georgian period and beyond. We didn't find any green waste, even though he told us he thought it was on there. So you've got to be careful. You've got to make that educated guess and decision about green waste. If it's absolutely strewn with it, then that's the time to give it a swerve because it's impossible to detect. But if there's a little bit that's been introduced, only a little bit, maybe one, one season, when they bring it in with the fertilizers and it's only just had a little dust in the green waste, we can get away with that because the good finds outweigh outweigh the green waste. So we're just going to make a judgment of that. It's something that's only just recently cropped up. I would never would have gone anywhere near fields that had green waste on it. But when you think what could be missed, that's when you've got to change your mind a little bit. But the farm in Yorkshire in question still has to be tested for green waste, because we can't go blind. We can't go blind for parking. We can't go blind for boundaries. And we certainly can't go blind for checking for green waste. But some of the farmers call it black cake. And in that black cake, sometimes, not always, but sometimes the green waste, metallic waste, the toxic waste is mixed in amongst it. And that's the devil to deal with once you start finding it. So, treasure hunting with Tessie? No, not really. Unearthed Digs. We're not commercial, remember, Tessie. So we're not a commercial organisation. We don't have hundreds of people going on farmland. So we make loads of money. The farmer makes loads of money, and we don't care where we go. We pretty much do everything to the book, and we're a small elite group of detectorists, hopefully soon. So, but we have got farms in Lancashire. We have got farms in Yorkshire, and obviously Cumbria. We've just kept them at arm's length up until this point. Let's have a look. I hope I'm like you, Bill. Bill is a role model for men and people, because he's like, he's in his 80s. He's as fit as a fiddle. He's kept himself healthy and well with his martial arts over the years, and he just loves detecting. He's top man. Top man he is. Right. So, Jimbo, would you ever consider implementing a 12-month finance on your website for detectors? We do finance with Klarna and Lay-by, which is short-term finance. I think it's about 3 or 4 months. However, if we went down the route of getting the 12-month finance for detectors, we have to have the certificate, and we have to go through a period of assessment. And the waiting list for that now, Jim, is about 15 months, which is like, wow. But there is short-term finance there, which can work for people. And there might even be changes to that financial agreement soon. So just keep an eye out for that. They might actually lengthen the terms, which is good. Have I chosen the location for next week? Yes, I've chosen that already, sir. Yeah. Dale asking for 12-month interest free. Hi guys. Hi Scuba Guy. Hope you're well. Let's have a look at what Jim's saying. Yeah, can't believe you got that tiny hammered out of the field with green waste, Dave. Yeah, he did. He did very well. And that field probably needs another search, because even though there was metallic waste mixed in that field, there was. I tell you now, there'll be some really good finds in there. So we are where we are. I'm just missing so many comments. Green waste. Why do they do that? What's the purpose of it? It comes from the recycling plants, where they make the compost, but they make it out of a lot of different products that are mixed in with the recycling plant. So there could be window frames, and the latches are coming off, and we've even found batteries, needles, door latches, screws, nails, you name it. There can be all sorts of mangled pieces that have been put together through the recycling plants. And it produces through the MDF as well, and all the rest of the produce, if that's the right word to use. They sort of make a black compost out of it, but the metallic waste it's not screened properly when it goes through the process, basically. And that adds to the problem, because then it's spread on the fields and the farmers think it's good stuff, but they don't realise it's absolutely crammed full of all sorts of nasties. Now, not all farms, and I think it's going to be banned in some places. I think the Environment Agency are already looking into the levels that are allowed to go into farms. But for me, it isn't enough. It's just not good. So have we chosen where we are? I had right. Let's have a look. I had an awesome Roman coin hoard on New Year's Day. It really made me want to start up my channel again. Now I have my own permissions. Well done. That's fantastic. Anybody that finds a Roman hoard, I tip my hat to you, sir. I am staying at Monk Castle Saturday night. Have I got far to travel from there to the dig? No, not really, mate. No, very, very close. You'll get all the information on the dig group, Darren, nearer the time. So the postcode will go out nearer the time, mate. So we've got more. You know you're on green wasteland when you find all the components to an IKEA cabinet, and that's pretty much it. You also know it's gone through the process, right? It's gone through the process for the green waste process, and it has a black tinge to it. Now we know this because the odd time pound coins end up going in through it, and I think it's just the people that are doing the process. Pennies are going in it, 2 pences, 5 pences, 20 pences, and they all come out at the other end with this distinctive, horrible black, grey, nasty colour, and then it all gets mangled. They get almost defaced, and some people get a little bit excited when they find one of these coins because they think, oh wow, that looks interesting, but it's just a modern coin that's gone through the green waste process. So they should be fined heavily for the green waste. You're right. Treasure hunting with Tessie. It's not just. I've maybe not made myself clear. Unfortunately, the digs are not open for people to just join. It's already it's pretty much a closed shop now. And if you look back at the start of this film, that I've given the reasons why we're not a commercial dig group, unfortunately, without letting people down. Lee, the dig group was formed for people that were buying the detectors off us. Now, you're not one of those people, but you are part of the Unearthed YouTube channel, aren't you? The membership program. So you'll get notification through the membership program when the digs are on. But the dig group is quite an exclusive closed group that's been around for years. And it was based on the people that used to buy our detectors off us, you see. So that's why we have that. And Ryan's right what he says, them IKEA cabinet fixings give a cracking signal. Jason touched on it, you know, all the IKEA fittings that are going through this process. But what worries me about it is I would love to know where the batteries and the syringes and the needles are coming from. I'm not really sure that I understand where they're coming from, but they're mixed in with it, and that can't be a good thing. That people are growing their crops, their farm crops, with a lot of these nasty substances in and these materials in. And I don't think aluminium's good anyway. But anyway, there you go. If anyone wants a spare screw turn lock things for furniture, let me know. They're horrible, aren't they? They're just full of it. And Disabled Digger, hi Graham and Mel, wish you both happy new year and hope you're both well, and I hope you're well too, sir. So we've got any news on the wood sample? Nothing back, Jim. No, but I'm going to chase that up, actually. I'm going to chase that up very soon. It's the battery that worries me. Yeah, no, usually on green waste sites or farms that have been strewn with the stuff, there's a lot of batteries mixed in, and there's a lot of syringes and needles, and you've got to be really careful. That's why I always say to people, listen, you've really got to make sure. Just bear with me a second, Mel. Just remember at the end of this live stream, I've got to tell you something. Just remember, because I might forget.
How do you know what it is?
Because I know what it is, but I might forget by the time it's finished. Right, I won't forget. No. So it worries me too. Actually, it should worry everybody, and that's the reason why you should always wear gloves when you're detecting. Now, there's a lot of people creeping into our Unearthed organised dig group that are not wearing gloves, and you'll see some of the videos of really dirty hands. Now, listen, I can really preach about wearing gloves, because for a number of years I never wore them in the 80s and 90s much when I was a young lad, because I didn't think anything would affect me. But when you see some of the nasty stuff that's going into the ground, and of course digging up some of these farm needles, the veterinary needles, or the needles that are coming in with green waste, it does make you think about protecting your hands. Now, they're going to go through gloves, bits of glass, needles, but they're going to give you that level of protection that might be all it takes for it not to pierce your skin. So I would, I can't implement a rule to say you've got to wear gloves or else, because that's not the done thing. But I would be now actively telling people, I think, just to protect themselves, because there's nothing worse than getting, and Dr. McLeod, Ian McLeod, who did a piece in the Detector magazine for us last year on all the harmful nasties that lurk in the ground. Once people started reading that, I think the penny dropped, because you can get all sorts of horrible diseases out of the soil. You've got to be really careful with this stuff. really, really, wear gloves. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, especially what stuff that, you've also got to remember that some farms also spread human waste on the fields. Human waste, not just manure from farm animals. They can spread human waste on there, believe it or not. And, you don't want to be going around without gloves on, digging in that stuff, and then prick yourself. Mate, you're going to be in hospital. Hugh, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Regarding green waste, when it's being processed, you would think it's on a conveyor belt, which is true. They could fit some sort of metal detector. They should fit some sort of detecting device. They have some sort of screening device, but these items fall through the screening device. So, and obviously magnetic doesn't work. So yeah, you'd think they'd develop something, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd develop something to take it out. Always wear gloves, mainly because my hands have cuts and grazes on from work. Absolutely, just do it. And this is also a very interesting question. How do printed circuits from computers and washing machines get there? Absolutely. In amongst the green waste, we call it green waste, but it's toxic waste. We're finding a lot of computer components, motherboards, circuit boards, motherboards, just broken edges of them. So they're obviously coming in from somewhere. Does make you wonder. It's a lot. And I think, if we really wanted to, we could really, the National Council of Metal Detecting, I don't know what they're doing actually, because they used to, or had a couple of really good people that were advocates against the green waste program. But I'd like to know, I'm going to message the National Council of Metal Detecting to just see what their stance on it is, because I think they could be doing a little bit more, rather than relying on people like me to contact the Green Party, the Environment Agency, Friends of the Earth, you name it. I've done the lot. I didn't get the desired answers off quite a lot of them, but I did off a few. Environment Agency sat on their hands a little bit, but I think if we really wanted to, we could make a bit more of a fuss about it. And you think about the plastics in the ocean. Well, listen, the green waste on the fields is as big as that, because there's thousands of tons of it strewn across the British Isles now, from top to bottom. Not just in certain counties, as far down as the Isle of Wight, as far north as the top end of Scotland. It's all over the place. Ron Stevens, how are you, sir? Mel has just mentioned that you're on. Good to see you, as always. A pleasure. How does a dart barrel find its way into a field? Never seen people playing darts. Absolutely. You're always going to get items that you're really going to ask the question, where does it come from? And of course, you've also got to remember the farms themselves can produce waste that sometimes ends up on the fields outside of the green waste problem. But yeah, I found darts too, believe it. And I found just about everything that's been buried, including a set of false teeth once. Dug a hypodermic needle today. Always wear gloves. Absolutely. Even if it's a pair of gloves that you've got, I don't know, that you'd walk the dogs in or something, just something to give you that extra bit of protection. Just that extra bit of protection is all it needs. I've seen people and heard of people going to hospital through cuts and grazes on their hands because they've been digging around in the soil. Bill Leyland is on. He said, if I can put it up on the screen, if it lets me, no, it won't let me there. It might let me there. So Bob Russell brought the green waste issue up in Parliament. He did. He was an MP, Bill, I think. He did. And he did because a detectorist went to him with the information and the evidence. So Bob Russell in the 90s, possibly, or the early 2000s, brought it up in Parliament. But again, it was never followed on, really. They probably did a little bit of initial work around it, but, is Bob Russell still around? I don't know. I'm always surprised how much lead appears in pasture. Any clues why? Well, you've got to remember with lead, if it's the old white lead, if I'm on pasture fields or ploughed fields and I'm finding little chunks of white lead in all sorts of shapes and sizes, I know the good stuff isn't far behind. And the reason why I say that is because lead was widely used in the Middle Ages and beyond, before and after. So lead was a very, very durable commodity in the Middle Ages. And again, even the Romans used lead. And they used it for a variety of different things, from potmens. You know, it was almost like the blue tack of the day in a lot of ways. And people, I think, carried it around with them for just gentle repairs. You know, so if you're finding lead in the fields, do not be dismayed by it. See that as a really good sign. You always find lead mixed in with good stuff. Where we at? Thanks for the safe delivery of the LG24. Forecast snow tonight in Kent. Yeah, we've got a bit of cold weather coming in, but hopefully, I think in Cumbria we're going to be out of it. We're going to miss the snow, which is good. I believe in that the recycling company takes shortcuts. It's cheaper to get rid of it this way. No, I think there's money involved in it. I do. I think there's money involved in it. I think there's backhanders involved in it as well, which is not good. Anyway, yeah. Lead is good, as Rob Quince says, and it is really good. Really, really good. Finding tons of little bits of lead. I smell hammy this year in my 12th year. You'll get hammered, Kev. You're finding everything else. You're getting little tantalizing clues that age is on your field. So it's only a matter of time. Finding hammered coins can be notoriously difficult in certain counties, right? There's certain counties in this country that are absolutely littered with them. So if you're in East Anglia, you can basically trip over hammereds if you know what you're on with. You know, they're not going to jump out the ground, but you can find lots and lots fairly easily. In Cumbria is a little bit different. We do find a lot hammered up here, but we've got to work for it. Yorkshire, Lancashire is probably the same. You come into places like Lincolnshire, East Anglia, Suffolk, Kent, Essex, there's a lot of hammered coins, even in Wiltshire and places like that. But there is other counties that don't seem to hold as much. Northumberland, there's a few, but not many, not as much as some of the other counties. But you will eventually come across. I mean, Cornwall. I speak to a lot of Cornish detectorists that don't find many hammered coins. Some do, some don't. But you'll find them once you get your eye in. You'll find them. It's not that far. You're not that far away. I bet you're only a matter of months away. The more you swing, the more likely you're going to find. Facebook, Evening Graham. See you soon. I'm not sure who that is, but hi. I always worry about lead. Don't worry about lead. Good sign that there's good stuff to come. Debbie Sharkey. Hi, Mel Graham. Any signs of more manticores coming in? We've got a very, very small batch of manticores coming soon that are going to be given to the pre-orders that have been waiting patiently from as far back as, I think, September. But there is going to be more and more manticores coming over the next few weeks. So the good news is, Debbie, that the manticores are going to be coming a little bit quicker soon. So I understand the frustration because we're experiencing unbelievable volumes of people asking for them, which is interesting. But the frustration is felt by us just as much as the people that can't get their hands on one just yet. But once they get their hands on one, all that waiting and frustration will be completely forgotten. Dave is just watch farming forecast, milder weather for the weekend, which is good. Yeah, a bit of milder weather, but you've got to be careful in Cumbria because milder weather can usually mean rain, and we've been really hit by some really bad weather lately. Now, there's another thing I want to bring up while we've got 70 odd people on is we've been asked. This is probably for the people in the Furness and South Cumbria area. If the Furness Finders Club, which finished and shut, it shut because of COVID. So it shut in February 2020, and then COVID kicked in and just about ruined everything and everything around it. So we never really convened the Furnace Finders Metal Detecting Club because of that reason. The venue shut, and lots of people got frightened. Now, I've had lots of messages over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Are we going to get Furnace Finders back up and running? And the answer is yes. And it's not going to be till February. We've still got to find the venue and make sure that the people that housed us last time will also house us this time. But we've also got to make sure that we do it in the correct manner. So it might be a little bit different on the times. It might be a different day from last time. So any of you who's watching from the Cumbria area that's been asking about Furnace Finders, Mel, where are you going? Well, she's just disappeared after you. Sorry about that. The dog's running around after Mel. So any of you people that are watching and interested in the furnace finders crack and have been asking the question why, because there's a lot of calls for it to get up and running. We are going to do it. Yes, we are going to do it. It must be poor folk in Devon. No, I don't. I think Devon, I think there was a book in the 70s. No, it wasn't. A book in the 80s that was called History Beneath Our Feet. And that was Devon and Cornwall based. And they used to find a lot of hammered coins around the villages. So some old villages in Devon, all them old thatched villages go right back to the Elizabethan period or beyond. You've got to get around the villages. If you want to find the hammered coins, get around the old villages. That's the key. Or get on the old footpaths. That's the key. Hammies are few and far between. Listen, there's hammerds all over the place, believe me. Detectives have found hammerds all over the place, right? There is, if you read my book that I wrote, I did a section on, coins and how to get the best out of your permissions and things like that. There's ways and means of making it better for you and increasing your chances. People fall into the trap of thinking every single field will hold a hammered coin and just wondering, I've got permission on this farm. That farm could be in the middle of nowhere. It could have very little history. Is that raining? Oh. It's like a zoo in here. So there's dogs running around after you. There's cats jumping out the window. What? People get a little bit mixed up and excited about hammered coins. And here's why. It's because they expect every single field to hold one and they don't. You've got to think about increasing your chances. And the way you got to increase your chances is get round the old villages. If you get round the old villages, even better if they've been mentioned in the Doomsday Book, and there's various footpaths surrounding those villages, and you've got permission near or on them, you're going to find hammered coins at some point. Unless there's been rallies, organised digs, and numerous detectorists before you, and they're not going to get everything, by the way. That's where you'll find your hammered coins. That will increase your chances of finding them. And there's other even more important ways of finding hammered coins, but I'm not going to talk about that just yet. And certainly not going to talk about it tonight. Northumberland is a particularly poor place for hammered coins. I agree, Jimmy. I absolutely agree. I used to do a little bit of detecting in Northumberland, but they are there, They are there. Ivy Rush says, hi, Grandad. Hi, Ivy. Are you watching, Ivy? If she's watching, just give me a little wave. I don't know if she can give me a wave. That's my granddaughter, Ivy. She watches the live streams on my son's does she watch it via our Jack or does she watch it via Remy?
I don't know.
Jack might be at work, actually.
Yeah,
she might be watching me, Remy, yeah. Anyway, hi, Ivy. Hello, Ivy. I hope you're being here for your mum and dad. So yes, so there's lots of ways, and I hope that it's not me sounding sort of patronising, because I'm lucky enough to find lots of hammered coins over the years. I'm probably 150 or less away from 1,000 hammered coins now, but that's took 40 odd years of me working tirelessly in the fields to find them. And believe me, I've walked off the fields scratching my head sometimes, thinking, why have I not found a hammered coin? I've just been around this 12th century church. The fields have been ploughed right up to its border and its walls and its boundary, and I've not found a single hammered coin. And it could be something just simple, like the turn of the plough. There's a plough cycle that goes on, and some years the medieval stuff will rise to the top. And in other years, everything will be dumped down. It'll be the modern stuff that comes to the top. And the detectors way back then weren't deep enough to penetrate the ground, or sensitive enough to find the small cut quarters and cut halves that we're lucky enough to find these days. So there's a lot of factors that kick into play when you base yourself around hammered coins. And the other one is you try too hard. I can remember going on a farm that was owned by the monks of Furness Abbey a long, long time ago. The farm itself dated to the 1100s. Fantastic place. It just smelt of hammered. And I used to go there. The farmer was a great guy. He's passed away now, but at the time he used to let us go anywhere we wanted. He trusted us then, and he was a great man. And we used to share all the finds with him and show him what we found. And we used to go 2 or 3 times a week. But we used to try that hard. I think we tried that hard. It sort of backfired on us a little bit. So we just didn't find the hammered coins that we thought we were going to. However, we give it a 6-month rest or a year rest. We went back not expecting to find a great deal. The pressure was off, just having a bit of fresh air. The hammered coins came. And it could be the detector you're using as well, or it could be the settings in your detector that you're not using correctly. It could be a lot of things. Anyway, there we go. I smelt mine, Tessie, with the rest. All right, okay, we're on about turning into fishing weights. Yes, lead. Definitely have a field or two I'd like to use the Manticore on. John, I think you're on our list. I don't want to put you on the spot at all, but I'm pretty sure Melanie put you on the list because it's been that long. I'll have to get the list out and read it. John O'Reilly, yeah, he's on the list, yeah. And hopefully, John, you'll be, smashing them Saxon coins out of the ground before long, because it's a believe me, I think once you get to grips with this machine and learn its menu system and learn its characteristics, I think you'll pretty much see it as a bit of a game changer. But people have got to get to that point first. Don't expect to just switch it on, go, find lots of things. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to its characteristics, I think. But what a machine.
Al's just messaged me to say about that going
Yeah. -4 here tonight, Rob. That's cold. That's actually colder than here. Let's just see if I can I'm missing so many. History Beneath Our Feet, isn't that the book with Edward Woodward on? No, it was a paperback book about an A5 size, and I think it was written by. Oh, do you know what? I've got it upstairs somewhere. It wasn't Ted Fletcher that wrote it. It was quite a famous guy in the 80s, quite a famous writer of detecting related subjects that wrote the History Beneath Our Feet. Got a picture of a detectorist on the front and like an underground, like an Earth image. Anyway. It's a good book. If Detector Kev lives in Devon, he should be looking on eBay or the second-hand market for a History Beneath Our Feet book, because it tells you all the ancient spots around Devon and Cornwall and what's been found there. I mean, it's obviously changed now because it was written such a long time ago, but still a brilliant book. And it's got some cracking references to finds that people can make. Laffy, got to love the critters. They seem to know where you live. Ryan is talking about you'll never get a better feeling than digging up a hammered coin. Such amazing experience. I agree. Hammered coins are the bread and butter for detectorists. If you're finding hammered coins, you know you're doing something right. If you're finding cut halves, you know your detector's doing something right. And if you're finding cut quarters on a regular basis, you know you've reached the pinnacle of detecting, because they can be difficult to find. And that's what I loved about the Equinox 800. I was finding cut quarters on my permissions that had been over countless times with other detectors, and some of them were 2, 3, 4 inches down, and that's quite deep for a cut quarter. So I was missing them with the others, of course, I guess. Right, so we've got a lot of farmers. That's a problem as well, is the direct drilling. Some of our main farmers that we've got permission off outside of Cumbria, where I do my own private detecting, have bought in, £250,000 direct drill machines, which is a lot of money, but they obviously are going into the direct drilling side of things much more frequently than ploughing. But they do go back to ploughing after a 3-4 year cycle. So your fields are not always going to lay strewn with the direct drill. Eventually they do plough them. Which we found to our glee, but direct drill can be a pain, unless you've got big farms where you're not going to cover everything anyway. It's not too bad. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I've got permission with ridge and furrow. I hope there's hammers there somewhere. It's going to be difficult because they're going to be deep, but you could well get them. Yeah, you could well get them. Lots of conversations going on, which is always good. Bill, that's it. Bill's got it. See what I mean about Bill? Brian Reed. There you go. Brian Reed wrote the book. So I'll keep that on the screen. I don't even know if Brian Reed's still around. I think he pretty much is still. But Brian Reed wrote the book. And it's a fantastic book, History Beneath Our Feet. I love that book. I used to read it countless times because quite a lot of the things I was finding in the 80s and the 90s were in that book. There's references, the finds like the little mounts and things, and the little pendants and the little lead items and the spindle walls and the tokens and everything else that came, buckles. Is anybody using the Nock 7800 900? That was an experienced user using the 600, still working with the 600, thinking of upgrading, want to get my value out of it without going over the top. The one thing I can say, Scuba Guy, is I've come over from difficult in my position, because you've got to remember we sell them now. So people now, instead of seeing me as a seasoned detectorist, also see me as somebody that sells them. So I've got to be careful. There's a fine line there at times. But the one thing I can say is I've come across from the 800, and I'm now using the 900, and I love the 800. I changed it, and I put carbon shaft on it, and I put a new unbreakable arm cup, different coil. Love the 800, great machine. But the 900 is different. I find the 900 even better than the 800, and that's me being honest. If you're finding buttons, you're hitting the goalposts, hammered will follow. Yeah, and it's the same with buckles, and it's the same with pieces of lead, and it's the same with mounts and all sorts of things. If you're hitting the older stuff and the medieval period's coming up, you know the hammered are going to be quite near. Let's have a look. No, John, yeah, I know what you're thinking of, John. A Fortune Under Our Feet. That's a different book, isn't it? But History Beneath Our Feet, wrote by Brian Reed, is worth, honestly, if any of you can get your hands on that book. I got it from, my mother bought me it a long time ago, 25 years ago or more. But brilliant, yes. It's well worth it. I remember ringing you a few weeks back of the joy of detecting on my first hammered. It is high percent that more hammered will be in the field. Yeah, absolutely. I can go on a ploughed field and maybe find 2 hammered or 3 if I'm lucky. But I know there'll be 7 or 8 still there that I've missed. It might come around on the next plough. We might get them 2 or 3 years later. But I always think if you're in that medieval moment where they're coming up, there's bits of mounts coming up, buckles, broken bits and pieces. You know the hammered are not going to be far away. And the old people were no fools. They knew where the good soil was. They're not going to plough and, grow the crops on rubbish, poor land. You look where the good soil is and you'll find the good stuff. I've got a book by him called The Metal Detector Finds. Yeah, great guy. Ant Doyle is on. Good to see Ant. Hi, G. Back to wearing gloves. My mother-in-law ended up with severe fungal infection in her ear after scratching it when gardening. 12-month recovery and multiple surgeries to clear it up. There you go. It can be something as simple as that. There's a lot of detectorists, and I know people are watching this stream tonight thinking, oh, God, I fall in that category. There's a lot of people not wearing gloves, and they're on our digs. They're on our dig group, and some of the best detectorists that I've seen in a long time are still not wearing gloves. And I don't know whether it's because they want to feel the detector and they want to be digging in the soil to feel a coin without gloves hampering them. But you've got to start educating yourself. I mean, I wear gloves all the time. If I get a really good find, I'll take the glove off and hold it in my hand and take a picture or do a film of it, but then I'll put the glove back on and everything else. If you educate yourself to wearing gloves, you've got that added bit of protection. Happy days. It's a good one. Yeah, and it's a really, really good one. Really good one. If you're upgrading from a 600, I go to the 9. Just remember, though, folks, the 700 is a good machine. People are bypassing the 700s and going straight to the 900s. They're missing a trick. The 700's cheaper. It's got some really good features. The build quality's there. Just think of it as a simplified version of the 900. Still got this very, very similar performance levels. Tony Brown, did not know you were on tonight. Yeah, I put it out earlier in the week, maybe let's see, Thursday, Friday. That we were coming on. I think I've got the hiccups. Upgrading from the 800 would be the Manticore for you. Good machine. And Jimbo's saying wear gloves. Yeah, absolutely wear them. So we've covered quite a lot tonight. We've covered about how the Unearthed organised digs work. They're not commercial digs, folks, anymore. We've pretty much changed it now because we were just we lost farms as well for people coming on. I have to mention that we got a call one day. Farmer wasn't happy at all. We'd lined up a farm actually for the next Unearthed organised dig at that particular period. And the farmer rang me up and said, listen, you ain't coming on. I said, well, hang on a minute. We haven't been on your farm yet. He went, yeah, you have. Some of your guys have jumped over the fence. Come on. Left some rubbish. dug a few holes and didn't fill them in and left a pop bottle on the top. Bad news, isn't it? And we can't, you know, as much as we've got marshals on the day to make sure people are doing the right thing. When you're on 600-700 acre farms and people are wandering all over the place on different areas because we want to find the hot spots, then trouble and, you know, just hassle. So far better to handpick the people. Far better to handpick the people. Let's have a look. Oh, hands up who loves Professor Alice Roberts. Love the show Digging for Britain. Yes. I'm not sure if she's if she's detector friendly or not, actually. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if she would be. Debbie says it's difficult finding tactile gloves that are safe as well. It is difficult, actually, because a lot of the gloves that we wear on our day-to-day jobs, I guess, if we're out walking the dogs, it's them sort of, you know, mitts or whatever, I don't know, cotton, whatever they're made of, like woolen gloves even. They ain't going to do a job in the detecting game. We used to stock a particular type of glove that was made for the military, the Viper gloves. Some people know the Viper equipment that we sell still, but we used to sell a lot of the Viper gloves. But the problem, and they were hard wearing, don't get me wrong, they were brilliant. The problem is some of them weren't waterproof. So if you're out detecting and you got wet, then you've got wet gloves for the day. And to get waterproof gloves, the cost is astronomical at times. You only have to look at them sealskin gloves. Just cost an absolute arm and a leg. So gloves have always been a problem. We sell the Minelab gloves, which are very good. They're like one size fits all, and they're quite tough and hard wearing. But we've never really gone back into looking at getting the Viper, you know, military grade gloves. They were brilliant, but what do you do? Difficult, isn't it? Right, so we've got 15 minutes left. So if there's anybody that wants to bring anything up, now's the time. We've got 15 minutes left. Let me just check. Yeah, 15 minutes we've got. So if there's anybody that wants to bring anything up now, do it. That would be brilliant. We have got some messages coming up. Right, time to put the kids in bed. That's great. Has the issue? Oh, well, that's quite. Has the issue of the items going missing? Right, that's still an ongoing investigation. That can't really talk about it at the moment because it's a police matter. When I say can't really talk about it, we know the police have arrested somebody and there's been items recovered, but because it's an ongoing police investigation, we've got to make sure that we just keep everything in the hands of the police, and that we hope that some of the items that have gone missing will turn up. I think we'll hear something probably in the next few weeks, hopefully in the next few weeks. The problem is with the things going missing. I've got involved because some of the finds that were on our Unearthed organised digs are the finds that have gone missing, and they've left it to me to contact the landowners to tell them that these items have gone missing. So I've been asked by the authorities to say, listen, these items have gone missing. Can you contact the landowner? No one else has done it, and the poor detectorist shouldn't be allowed to do it because they're already grieving over their finds missing in the first place. But at the moment, we can't say a great deal about it, and we're hoping to hear some more information. And, you know, I hope it doesn't put off people, you know, recording their finds. Again, you know, the only thing I can say is they've made an arrest, and hopefully the police will do the right thing and let us know soon. Yeah, Jim, just we've got listen, we've got rid of people off the dig group now anyway. That's, you know, that's another issue. Thanks, Darren. Good to see you, mate, as always. Oh, just while people are on, there is Minelab competitions going on, isn't there? That's one of the things I meant to say. So we've got the Minelab competitions going on, and these have been going on for a number of months. Now, there might be some people here tonight, watching this that have actually won. Are you contacting me?
No, the dog.
Oh, the dog. She was whistling. I thought she was whistling me for some reason. So there's Minelab competitions that we carry out periodically in conjunction with Minelab. MindLab were very, very good to include a number of items as giveaway merchandise for people to enter from the Unearthed group, the Unearthed page as well. So if you're not a member of the Unearthed group, you can certainly enter through the Unearthed page, and of course on YouTube. Now, loads of people have won. Loads of people have won 7 items of merchandise, including Finds pouch, some really smart MindLab Finds pouch, the MindLab deep detecting gloves, the new MindLab caps, the bag, the bandana, the Caribou clips. There's lots and lots of different things that you can win. But when we put the competitions on, loads of people enter, which is fantastic. All you've got to do is look at the YouTube channel and answer one question that's based on the YouTube channel to be put into the draw. Me and Melanie leave it a week, then we do the draw, then we send the details out of the winner. What could be easier than that? However, it seems that a lot of people are missing the competitions. You've just got to keep your eye out on the groups. That's all I can say. Keep your eye out on Facebook page. Keep your eye out on the Facebook group. There is a number of them competitions still left to win. So if you haven't won already, guess what? You could win. You could easily win. There's lots of people on this group. There must be half a dozen or more people that have won in the last four months. So really good to win. And we're privileged to be able to run these competitions. Now the next one will be next week. Just keep an eye out for it, folks. If you enter it, you've got a really good chance of winning some really brilliant merchandise. But just if you miss it, it's because there's that much stuff going on the groups. It probably drops to the bottom. Then we've got to make sure it goes back up and give people notifications that it's out there. But if you haven't been on Facebook for 3 or 4 days, or you've been working, people are saying, I never knew anything about it. And some people get a bit shirty about it as well. How come I've not seen anything about a MindLab competition? Well, I'm not in charge of your mobile phone or your computer, and I'm certainly not in charge of your Facebook. It's up to you to keep an eye out. So, so that's what is, that's the crack going on about the MindLab competitions. There is more to come, folks. So if you haven't won yet, you've got a massive chance of winning in the future. Whew. We've got 9 minutes left, folks. We've still got quite a lot of people. We had up to 70 odd people watching earlier, which is always fantastic. We've still got 60 odd people watching now. So them are from YouTube and a few from the Metal Detecting Facebook group, which is always good. How do the Facebook haters well, what we're going to do, the membership section, this is another thing we want to mention as well. So we've still got the membership section running, the YouTube membership section, which you're a member of, Andrew, if you recall. So we set up the YouTube membership section on here for people to join. Now, I'll tell you how much it is. It's £1.99 a month. Now, YouTube take the majority of that. We don't get that, I'm afraid, folks. So when you're paying £1.99, most of it goes to YouTube. We get a 99 pence of it, but we do it because people who haven't bought their detectors from us can get into the organised dig group that way if they become a YouTube partnership member. But you also get the chance to see some members only videos. You get some merchandise offers, and you can get some discount off certain items as well. That's why we do that, and it's quite successful. We've got quite a lot of people on there, and I quite enjoy the membership section. So what we're going to do is, me and Melanie talked about this at the weekend, or this weekend we're going to do some of the MindLab competitions on the membership section. We've already done one. If you look back, we did a MindLab spade on the Unearthed membership section of YouTube, and a lady, I can't remember her name now. Who was it who won it? One of the ladies won it anyway, which is really good, really good. So if you're not a member of Facebook, like you're not, Andrew, and I don't blame you at times, because Facebook can be a toxic place if you don't manage it correctly. You can worry not. We are going to do competitions on the membership section. So there you go, folks. Yeah, so there. Right. Anybody, any other questions? I think there was a couple of questions and I missed them because there's been that many people. Oh, Rod Underwood, how are you doing in sunny Lincolnshire? Rod, I hope it's not too cold down there. Good to see you, mate. Where we at? There's a bit of information there from Jim regarding a simplex. Right, guys, got to get off. Thanks, Graham. It's been educational. Thanks, Mr. Johnson, Ladge. That's brilliant. I thought I was going to have to join Facebook for a minute. No, it's hey, people don't go on Facebook for valid reasons. Not everybody's on it. I've got some old and dear friends that were never on Facebook and they never missed it. They probably hated it. Right, so there you go. Nice night grey mail. Hopefully, Jim. As soon as the 900s come in, your name's down on one. You will get your Equinox 900. And I tell you what, I did an Equinox 900 tutorial this morning, Jim, and I think you'll enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. All our YouTube videos that we do are all based around giving people information, advice, and guidance. So there is an Equinox 900 tutorial video coming out tomorrow night. So, and Daz Lum, will you be doing any more tutorial videos? Yes, we will. So there's an Equinox 900 one coming out tomorrow. That's quite interesting. Lee, how are you, Lee? I've not seen you for some time. Any Yorkshire digs, Graham? I was just talking earlier about the Yorkshire farm that we've got, a really large place, actually. But we're just a bit worried about the presence of green waste on it, of course, the ever-growing threat of green waste, like we talked earlier. So that one, until the weather gets a little bit better, and I can actually get down onto the dig, onto the farm and test myself, or I'll get somebody that lives in Yorkshire. I think we talked about couple of our friends going to visit it and see if they can do a bit of a check. So it's still on the radar, Lee, yes. And I know you've got to travel so far, haven't you, from Hull? A time frame on Manticore small coils coming to us. Do you know what? I've not had any information at the moment about the Manticore small coils. This is my guess. My guess is that Mine Lab at the moment are concentrating pretty much on the production of Manticores and the Equinox 700 and 900. And then when the level of machines become available worldwide, then we'll see the introduction of the coils filtering through. So this is only my guess. This is just an educated guess. I would probably say sometime in February we'll get information about the coils for the Manticore. It could even be March, but it's I can't see it being January. I do like the look of the Manticore spare coils. I've looked on the outside of the Manticore box and looked at the shape of the smaller coil that they're going to introduce, which I really like the look of. But my guess is that they're going to get the machines out there for people to use, and then the coils will follow. Debbie, I hope that helps anyway. Any views? Yeah, there's just, I don't know who that is that's asking, because I can't see your face, I can't see your name. Just comes up Facebook user, but there's some very, very interesting information coming through already on the Manticore. I don't know if any of you follow Susie Detects, but she's took her Manticore out for the first time Friday, and she was overjoyed with the results that she got in amongst the iron with the Manticore, especially with it. Oh, it's Ian. Good to see you, Ian. I mentioned you earlier, Ian. Dr. McLeod. I referenced you as Dr. McLeod. Yeah, some really interesting information coming out regarding the Manticore and the 2D screen system. Now, Susan lives up in Scotland and she's been detecting on a certain field. I'll just give you the case study very quickly because some of you might have missed this. Some interesting stuff coming. We might end up going a little bit further over here. Just bear with me a sec. Let me just talk you through about this part of the Manticore, then we'll deal with what somebody's just put up on the screen. Because it's a very, very interesting question. And again, I don't know who that is, the next question, so I'm going to have to click on it in a minute. But let's just put this one to bed. So Susan's been detecting on a field that produced a gold guinea. She's been detecting with a friend. The friend found a gold guinea, and they've been detecting with it on it with other detectors for a number of years, I think, or a period of time anyway. So the first port of call with a Manticore was that particular field, and she managed to find a hammered coin, which is really good because Susan doesn't find many hammered coins in Scotland. But the interesting thing was it was in amongst all the iron, and on the 2D screen, it showed an iron pattern coming up in the top right, top left, and a coin-shaped object in the middle of the screen on the 2D identification system, which made her dig it, and she dug it, and it came up as a hammered. She carried on digging more and more coins, more and more targets the same with the same pattern on the screen, showing the little round circle indicating a coin, and she got 3 more coins, which is interesting. Right, so that's that dealt with. So yes, some interesting stuff, but it's early days. It's early days. Where are we at? So here we go. Facebook user, I'm not sure who this is. Hi, Graham. I've got a Nighthawker very near to my permission. Any advice on how to deal with this situation? The first thing that springs to my mind, James, is have you got permission on that particular farm where this Nighthawker is? If you have, then there's 2 or 3 ways that you can deal with it. And we've had this problem ourselves. So the biggest thing that puts Nighthawkers off is other detectorists detecting on that particular field or farm in the daytime. So the more footprints that you put on that particular farm and field, the less chance of it becoming Nighthawks, right? Because these Nighthawkers drive around in the daytime looking for potential Nighthawking places to detect of an evening. And if they see they're driving around and they see detectorists on the particular field that they wanted to do, then they ain't going to go on it. So that's one, is actually make sure you detect it properly and put some footprints down on that particular land that will put off the Nighthawkers. The second one to put them off is making the farmer aware. So once the farmer becomes aware, he's then vigilant at night on his particular fields. Now, if he's really against it, he'll start shining a torch around, maybe put a flashlight across one of these hunting lamps, just have a little look around. The Nighthawkers will get spooked with lamps being shone around, and they'll do one. The third thing is these wildlife cameras work a treat, and people have been caught Nighthawking off the back of these wildlife cameras. But the thing is with them, they are expensive. So that could be a problem. And also, fourth, the rural crime officer in your particular area might be worth a call, and just to say, listen, I'm aware of a Nighthawker in this area. He's been seen or he's been caught or whatever. They might do patrols to see if there's any cars parked in laybys, country lanes or farmers' gates, of course. And they would be looking, the police would be actively looking for Nighthawkers if they know there's one in the area. And you can go one stage further and put signs up. People have done that where they've put this is a Nighthawk watching it, a Nighthawk watch area. And if the Nighthawk are jumping in fields and they see the signs up on the gates, this is a Nighthawk in watch area, whoa, it's going to put that little bit of doubt in their minds, unless they're the pikey types that don't care about getting caught anyway, because they go hare coursing in the day and Nighthawking at night. Just saying, just putting that out there. So there's a number of measures that you can take to combat Nighthawkers. Just remember, though, that Nighthawkers are not detectorists. They're just thieves armed with a detector. There's a big difference. Right, folks. So Susie's video has put the thought of a manticore in my head. It does look very interesting. I think it's very, very interesting with this 2D. I think this 2D identification screen is going to be a bit of a game changer. Just putting it out there, folks. I'm now quite happy with my Equinox 900. I'm loving using it, but I think the Manticore is going to be my next machine very soon. Rufus, any more? Jean's off to the pub. I wish I was going to the pub, but there you go. But I don't drink. Stu Davo, as a newbie, I found this interesting. That's the reason why we do these streams. That's good news. Is there any areas in Cumbria that's good to detect? Most areas are pretty good, Janice. Ulverston's a good area. I know you've got a new club opening up in Ulverston sometime soon, so you never know. The Ulverston club might even open up some land for you to detect on. Who knows? Thank you for that great advice. No problem, anytime. That's one way to deal with Nighthawkers. Rufus!
He's dreaming.
He's dreaming, but I can hear there's a dog yelping in the background, Mel. It's worth. Honestly, do you know what? Melanie, right, is one of these people that will just cram a house with dogs, cats. If she could get goats and sheep in here, she would, honestly. There's one dog crying and dreaming about chasing rabbits on his chair. Tinker's running up and down the stairs. The cat's jumping out of the window, and I'm trying to do a live stream. I'm glad you found it of use about the Nighthawkers. There's different ways of combating Nighthawkers. And, there's people at Nighthawk out there that don't think they're doing anything wrong. That's the problem. That is a problem. Right, folks. Okay, listen, I've been on for 1 hour, 34 minutes and 35 seconds. I think I've done enough tonight, but great to speak to you all. If any of you have got anything at all that you want bringing up, drop me a message. Hope you are all well. Great to see you. Bye for now. Have a great week ahead.